In the next 10 minutes, I'm giving you the 7 mechanical exploits used by everyone from cult leaders to master salespeople to rewire how every person in every room perceives you. No affirmations, just the cold architecture of human influence. You think people don't like you because of who you are. You are wrong. Your actual personality is completely irrelevant. Every room you walk into, every conversation that fizzles, every opportunity that slips through your fingers while someone less talented, less intelligent, less deserving walks away with everything. You blamed yourself, your awkwardness, your face, your voice. Here is the harsh truth 99% of humans will never understand. Being kind does not make people like you. Being genuine does not make people trust you. Being yourself. That is the worst advice ever given. Likeability is not an emotion. It is a mechanical performance, a precise sequence of psychological triggers that bypass conscious thought and plant you directly into someone's inner circle. The people who seem naturally magnetic, they are not special. They simply stumbled onto these patterns early, or someone taught them. A parent, a mentor, a manipulator who understood that human connection follows rules as predictable as gravity. And you? You have been fumbling in the dark, playing a game where everyone else already knows the cheat codes. What you are about to learn are 7 tricks, not theories, not feel-good affirmations, actual neurological exploits that rewire how people perceive you. These are the same patterns used by cult leaders, master salespeople, and that one person at every party who everyone gravitates toward without knowing why. Stay until the absolute end, because trick number 7 alone will permanently alter how you view every human interaction for the rest of your life. Now, let us begin. Trick number 1 reveals why everything you believe about first impressions is dangerously wrong. So you want people to trust you, to open up, to feel like you truly get them. Most people think this takes years, shared experiences, late-night conversations, a history together. They are wrong. Get ready to learn 7 things to master likability. Trick number 1, the fortune teller's illusion. Here is what fortune tellers figured out centuries ago. You do not need to actually know someone, you just need to make them believe you do. Watch how this works. A fortune teller sits across from a stranger, looks into their eyes, and says something like this. You have experienced a difficult period in your past that still affects you today. The client's jaw drops. Chills run down their spine. How could this stranger possibly know? The secret is almost ridiculous in its simplicity. That statement applies to almost everyone on the planet. It is a high-probability guess dressed up as profound insight, and your brain falls for it every single time. Here is where it gets powerful for you. Imagine you are talking to a colleague. You notice the subtle tension in their shoulders, the way they check their phone too often. So you say something like, "You seem like someone who carries more responsibility than people realize." Suddenly their walls drop. They feel seen, understood at a soul level. And they never noticed you made an educated guess based on observable stress signals. The psychological mechanism is this. Your brain cannot distinguish between statistical probability and genuine personal perception. When someone articulates something true about your inner world, your defenses collapse. You have just manufactured in seconds what takes everyone else years to build. Now we cross a line into territory most people never see. Trick number 2, the warm drink transfer. You walk into a meeting. You are about to pitch an idea that could change everything. Your words are polished, your confidence is high, but the room is cold. The person across from you is holding an iced coffee. You have already lost, and you have no idea why. Here is the science most of us never see. Your brain cannot separate physical temperature from emotional temperature. It conflates them, merges them, treats them as one signal. When someone holds something warm, their brain registers warmth. not just in their hands, in their perception of you. This is not metaphor. This is neuroscience. Researchers handed participants either hot coffee or iced coffee before meeting a stranger. Those holding warm drinks rated the stranger as more trustworthy, more likable, more generous. Same stranger, same words, same body language. The only difference was the temperature in their hands. Your psychological defenses soften when you are physically warm. Your guard drops. Your skepticism fades. Here is where you gain the edge. Before your next pitch, hand them a warm drink. Schedule that difficult conversation in a cozy cafe, not a sterile conference room. Take your date somewhere with ambient warmth before asking the question that matters. The physical warmth of that cup transfers directly to their perception of your character. Before you speak a single word, they already feel something positive about you. Watch how this plays out. Next up, trick number 3, neuro-linguistic mirroring. This is where we cross a line. Because the first 2 tricks work on perception, this one works on something far more dangerous, your subconscious mind. Picture this. You walk into a meeting with your boss, the one who seems to hate everything you do. Their arms are crossed, jaw tight, breathing shallow and fast. The majority freeze, they shrink, they become defensive. But you do something different. You subtly match their posture. Not obviously, just enough. You let your breathing sync with theirs. Your vocal rhythm starts echoing their cadence. And something strange happens. Their hostility begins to dissolve. They cannot explain it. But suddenly you feel less like an enemy and more like them. This is neuro-linguistic mirroring in action, and it bypasses conscious awareness entirely. Your brain is hardwired to trust what feels familiar. When someone mirrors you, your subconscious reads it as safety, as tribe, as someone who understands you without words. The hostile boss never realizes they have been disarmed. They just know that somehow this conversation felt different. You felt different. Salespeople use this constantly. Negotiators deploy it in hostage situations. Therapists use it to build instant rapport with trauma survivors. And the person on the receiving end has no idea it is happening. That is the power and the danger. Because when you speak directly to someone's subconscious, you are not persuading them. You are programming them. This effect is powerful alone, but when you pair it with the next exploit, it becomes unavoidable. Trick number 4. The Caveman survival hack. Everything you just learned about mirroring works because of something far more ancient. Something buried so deep in your biology that you cannot override it even if you tried. Here is the truth people are too afraid to see. Your desperate need to be liked is not weakness. It is survival programming written into your DNA over 2 million years of human evolution. Think about your ancestors. Picture them on the African savanna. No claws, no fangs, no armor, just soft, vulnerable flesh in a world of predators. What kept them alive? The tribe. Isolation meant death, not metaphorical death. Actual, physical, torn apart by predators' death. Your prehistoric brain learned one brutal lesson: stay connected to the herd or die alone in the dark. That programming never left. This is why a simple touch on someone's arm during conversation does something no words ever could. Light physical contact triggers those ancient survival circuits. Your brain floods with oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. The chemistry of trust and bonding activates instantly. Here is how this plays out. You are having a conversation. You make a point, and as you do, your hand briefly touches their forearm. Just 2 seconds, maybe 3. Their prehistoric brain registers one thing. This person is safe. This person is tribe. No logic involved, no decision made. Just raw neurochemistry hijacking their perception of you. This is not a polite social skill. This is a neurochemical lever that bypasses every conscious filter they have. And this brings us to a secret even more dangerous. Trick number 5. The social proof cascade. This one does not just make people like you, it manufactures the perception that everyone already does, and that perception becomes reality. Let's say you walk into a networking event. Your target is across the room, the person who could change everything, your career, your business, your life. Too many people make one fatal mistake. They approach directly, cold, unknown, a stranger asking for attention. You will not do that. Instead, you position yourself near a different group first. You laugh, you engage, you become visibly sought after before your target even knows your name. Here is what happens in their brain. Robert Cialdini documented this decades ago. The human mind uses crowd behavior as a cognitive shortcut. If others respond positively to you, the brain assumes you must be safe, valuable, worth knowing. Your target watches you from across the room. They see people leaning in, smiling, wanting more of your attention. And something shifts inside them. They want to know what everyone else already seems to understand. By the time you finally approach, you are not a stranger. You are pre-validated by the tribe. History proves this. Every influential figure from ancient courts to modern boardrooms understood one truth. The perception of popularity creates actual popularity. The cascade feeds itself. Stop approaching people cold. Stop being an unknown quantity. Become the person everyone else already wants to know. Now, pay close attention. Because trick number 6 reveals why everything you just learned could backfire catastrophically in the wrong context. Number 6. The cultural calibration paradox. Here is the truth most influence experts will never tell you. Those rapport-building techniques you just mastered, they work beautifully in certain contexts, and they will catastrophically backfire in others. Let's play a game. You are meeting someone from Japan or certain Native American communities. You extend your hand firmly. You lock eyes with confidence. You lean in with that warm, open body language, and you just triggered their subconscious threat response. Western psychology preaches that strong eye contact and light physical touch are universal rapport builders. But step outside that bubble and everything inverts. In many Eastern cultures, keeping your hands to yourself signals warmth. Avoiding direct eye contact communicates deep respect. Showing deference becomes the ultimate display of social intelligence. You thought you were being likable. They experienced you as aggressive, invasive, someone to distance themselves from immediately. This is the paradox that separates amateurs from true masters of influence. The techniques themselves are neutral. Context determines their power. Think about who you are actually dealing with. What does respect look like in their world? What signals safety versus threat in their cultural reality? The person who calibrates wins. The person who assumes universality loses before the interaction even begins. True likability requires you to become a student of the person in front of you, not a performer running the same script regardless of audience. Now, pay close attention. Because this brings us to the secret that separates the masters from the victims. Trick number 7. The authority override. This one changes everything. You have learned to mirror, to calibrate, to leverage social proof, but none of it matters if you walk into a room radiating desperation. There is one missed fact most people never face. Negative self-belief is not just unattractive, it is a social repellent. People can sense it before you speak a single word. Watch what happens when someone speaks with cold, clinical detachment instead of eager-to-please desperation. The entire dynamic flips. Others start seeking their approval, not the other way around. Why does this work? Human beings are hardwired to align with perceived authority figures. This programming runs so deep, it overrides personal logic. It overrides ethics. It overrides everything. Stanley Milgram proved this in his infamous obedience experiments. Ordinary people delivered what they believed were lethal electric shocks to strangers, simply because an authority figure told them to. 65% went all the way to the maximum voltage. That is the power you are tapping into. When you carry yourself with absolute certainty, you trigger ancient survival circuitry in everyone around you. Their brains whisper, "This person knows something I do not. This person is safe to follow." The mechanism is simple. Stop seeking approval. Start assuming it is already yours. Speak slower. Take up space. Let silences hang without rushing to fill them. These are not tricks. They are signals. Signals that broadcast one message. You do not need anyone's validation to know your own worth. But here is where the majority fail. They confuse arrogance with authority. Arrogance is loud. It announces itself. Authority is quiet. It simply exists. And everyone in the room adjusts to it without knowing why. That mistake costs them everything. And now you stand at the edge of something permanent. 7 psychological levers. 7 invisible strings that your friends will never know exist. But you do. Likeability was never some magical gift handed out at birth. It was never about being born charming or lucky or blessed with the right face. That story was designed to keep you passive, to keep you waiting for approval that would never come. The truth cuts deeper. Likeability is architecture. It is engineering. It is a system of precise psychological triggers that you now understand how to pull. The fortune teller's illusion, the warm drink transfer, neuro-linguistic mirroring, the caveman survival hack, the social proof cascade, the cultural calibration paradox, the authority override. These are not tricks. They are the operating manual for human connection that nobody gave you permission to read. Here is what happens next. You will walk into a room, you will deploy one of these levers, and you will watch something shift behind someone's eyes. That involuntary lean toward you, that sudden warmth they cannot explain. Your confidence will spike, and that confidence becomes its own lever, a feedback loop that amplifies everything you just learned. Real mastery feels quiet, not manic, not desperate. You will not chase approval anymore. You will not wonder why some people magnetically attract others while you stand invisible in corners. The 99% will continue hoping, wishing, waiting. You will manufacture connection on demand, and nobody will ever know why.